Welcome in, everybody, to the Fatal 4-Way, where we talk all about the world of professional wrestling. I'm your host, Dylan Oliver, joined by your co-host, Luc Carter, Rippy Galindo, and Justin LaCertosa. We have a jam-packed episode here for you guys today, so let's just get right into it. Starting it off,
we'll work on
Friday Night Smackdown. New channel, new intro, new graphics. What did we guys think about the first Smackdown with the new channel?
Yeah, so Smackdown moved to the USA Network, and I really like the graphics they use. I like the logo a lot. It gives very mid-2000s Ruthless Aggression era vibes. But my biggest gripe, and I don't know if you guys will agree with this, the show intro. They used a Megan Thee Stallion song for the show intro, and it's no hate to Megan Thee Stallion, but that doesn't get me hyped to watch some wrestling. Like, I want a rock song. I want some metal. Give me that grungy, like, mid-2000s era of WWE type intro. They did it with the graphics and the logo, but the song
doesn't have the aura that all the other ones used to have.
I did not like it. I did not like it.
Yeah.
Justin, I don't disagree. I like the presentation as a whole, and maybe the intro of the song has put sour taste in people's mouths. But, I mean, we know, like, they're doing it for the money, and, like, they've already had, I think they had Megan Thee Stallion on some sort of Raw or NXT at some point. Obviously, it's just a money grab from the business side of things, but, I mean, just as a whole, I like it. Intro's a bit iffy, as we said, but SmackDown looks good.
Speaking of music, did you guys see that WWE will be ending their contract with Def Rebel?
Thank the Lord.
And will be looking to use more mainstream artists for theme songs.
I think that is a fantastic thing. I mean, there's been memes for months now of how Def Rebel has been ruining people's entrances, ruining their theme songs with just putting one cliche tagline right at the start of a theme song, and then it's just
generic music.
Generic music,
yeah.
Exactly. So I do think that is what's best for business, and I think we're gonna get some good songs coming up here pretty soon for some superstars in the WWE.
Definitely will help bring the wrestling even more into the mainstream as it's grown more and more back into it in the recent months. You get a big artist on a song, and there's more eyes on your product from the artist fan base right there.
Yeah, I agree. It's sort of hit and miss with all of these current songs right now. I mean, like, I feel like we look at all the top stars like Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, who have Def Rebel music, and, like, there's clearly much more time and care put into making that music fit their character. And then you look at a guy like, I don't know, like Logan Paul, probably the worst theme song I think I've ever heard and ever listened to, which makes no sense considering he's arguably their biggest star, just like market-wise. But I digress. I'm so excited that they're going to be gone, and it's for the better.
Yeah, the inconsistencies between the like stars and talents with their theme songs has been very evident. So I do think that this is a fantastic move that'll make that a lot better. But so that's just the graphic side of it. Now let's get to what actually happened on the show. Of course, the big match, Solo Sikoa versus Cody Rhodes in a steel cage for the WWE Undisputed Championship. What were your thoughts on this match, Luke?
Well, it was interesting because it opened the show, and I was like, oh, if it's opening, does that mean we're not getting a Roman appearance? But no worries. They all came in. Tonga Loa, Tama Tonga, and Jacob Fatu came in the cage, beating up Cody, and that music for Roman hit, and the roof blew off the arena there in Seattle, and just his presence was excellent. And the face-off between Fatu and Reigns makes me want that match badly. And later in the show, we got to that contract signing. But the match itself, Solo Sikoa gets a lot of hate for his in-ring work. I think this was Solo Sikoa's best in-ring performance. Him and Cody have definitely developed some chemistry since their match at SummerSlam. This one was a much better performance in the ring. They were doing some crazy spots. Cody took a massive superplex off the cage, and then Cody hit a crossbody off the top of the cage, which was an awesome spot. Overall, great match and such a great way to kick off a new era of SmackDown.
That's definitely a way to get people to like you and like root for that match to happen and for that story to continue further is if you just like kill it in the ring. If you're entertaining, people are going to love it and people are going to like you. And so I think that's huge for the WWE business and continuing that Cody Roman versus Solo. and his other dude, I don't know his name.
Jacob Fatu.
Jacob, irrelevant because Cody and Roman are going to win.
Irrelevant. Jacob Fatu is arguably the best in-ring wrestler in that family. But again, I digress. I thought this was Solo's best match as well. I completely agree. And I think people give Solo too much hate because he's not some high flyer like a Jacob Fatu. And he doesn't really have like that powerhouse ability, I guess you could phrase it yet. So he has to work more technically in the ring. And I think once you put him with a guy like Cody over and over and over again, yeah, for me, I might get sick of it. You guys might get sick of it, but like they're guaranteed going to have their best match on that 5th, 6th round. And I think that only just helps Solo more moving forward. So I thought this was a great match. I thought the finish I really enjoyed, just not having any interferences in the actual match itself and waiting till afterwards. And then obviously Roman Reigns comes back. That's the big story, and I know we're going to talk a lot about that. I'm very excited for this upcoming tag team match, but I don't know. I know it's received a lot of backlash, so I'm interested to see what you guys have to say about that.
Again with the steel cage, I think it was a great match, and obviously the right person won with Cody, and Roman's return, like you guys all said, was electric. The one thing I didn't love about this storyline that's going on right now was after the match, Cody said he's done with the bloodline. He wants nothing to do with the bloodline anymore, and his story with the bloodline's pretty much over. And then, again, like you guys said, the contract signing at the end of the show, Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns decide they're fighting the bloodline together. So I feel like that kind of contradicted Cody's statements previously, but I think it is best, again, a very good thing that we are going to see Roman and Cody team up against Solo and Jacob Fatu here at Bad Blood on October 5th. I think that match is going to be absolutely fantastic because we've seen what they can do in tag team matches when you put big time stars in it. So I think it'll work out very well for the WWE.
Not only did Cody say he was done with the bloodline and then signed the contract, right before Cody came out and it was just Roman in the ring, Roman was saying, I'm not working with Cody. Like, this is my business. I'll do it on my own. And then Cody came out. Solo came out, and he signed the contract. I just thought that was funny. Everyone was kind of switching up last minute. Yeah. But for sure, best for business.
Yeah, and I agree that part of it's a little messy, but I'm just going to praise myself. I predicted this last week. I didn't really know if this was actually going to come to fruition, but it did. So I'm going to give myself a pat on the back. But I agree. Having Cody say after the match that he's done with this story kind of indicates that, I mean, he actually is done with the story. And then same with Roman. I mean, he came back. Obviously, he's a babyface now, but sort of the same demeanor as in, like, I'm the guy. I'm going to do this on my own. And then 4 minutes later, they both signed the contract. I think maybe like another week of dragging this on of if they're going to team together, can they coexist? And then they signed the contract. I think could have helped. But obviously, we didn't get that. And just as a whole, I'm excited for this match. I think it plants seeds for storylines in the future too, which we'll get into. But this is the perfect setup for the rest of the story from now to Survivor Series and then inevitably WrestleMania. So I'm excited.
Coming off of what you just said, setting up this story from later on, where do you think this next step is after this tag team match at Bad Blood? Where do you want to see this bloodline story go?
I'll tag in first here. See the wrestling references there. Survivor Series War Games will be the pay-per-view after Bad Blood.
Crown Jewel.
Oh.
November 2nd.
Always a Saudi show.
Yep.
Well,
wait. That's before Survivor Series, correct?
Yes, Crown Jewel is November 2nd. Survivor Series War Game will be November 30th.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna brush over Crown Jewel. So they'll do something there to set up to get to the Survivor Series match. But I think the Survivor Series match has to be Solo, Jacob, Tama Tonga, and Tongaloa against the original four of Roman Reigns, Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, and Sami Zayn.
I mean, I think that is a dream scenario, and that would be obviously like the best thing ever. But I just don't see, as of right now, how you get Jimmy to come back in time, how you get Jey to switch back over to SmackDown and go away from his solo run, and take Sami Zayn out of the World Heavyweight Championship picture, have him switch brands, and also go back to the faction that straight up abused him for months and months and months. I want that all to happen, and I want that to be the War Games match, But right now, based on the timeline and based off things that have happened in the past, I don't know if it's going to be possible for them to get there by that time.
I have a little bit of a theory on that.
Okay.
I think Jay and Jimmy are relatively easy to insert into this because, I mean, they've been through the entire storyline. So I don't know exactly how Jay's going to get into the fold. Maybe some sort of backstage segment at Bad Blood. Jimmy will eventually come back. I don't know exactly how that'll happen, but he'll come back, come after Solo, Jacob, Tamatanga. But I think Sami Zayn is the outlier here because he's obviously not like actually in the family. He was the honorary Uso. I think he loses to Gunther at Bad Blood. I don't think there's any real debate about that. And then I think they run it back at Crown Jewel because obviously Sami will get another high-quality match just because of his religious beliefs. Also, he's one of the best wrestlers on the planet. So run it back for the third time in Saudi Arabia, a place that is near and dear to Sami's heart. And if Sami loses, he gets banished off of Raw because Gunther's kind of just like the prototypical guy to be like, if you lose, you're not good enough to be on the same brand as me, so go away. Something along those lines, and I think it has merit because Sami's the only one on the main roster to actually beat Gunther. So I think they run it back, third time this year, a trilogy. Gunther wins, Sami inevitably goes back to SmackDown. That's sort of how you build it. Again, as far as Jay and Jimmy go, I'm not sure, but I think that is the four-way match that we see going into Survivor Series.
Can I give a counter to that? What if you don't want to change the brand that Sami Zayn is on, you have the story going into it be that Roman and the twins, Jimmy and Jay, are outnumbered, and they're going to have a mystery partner, and you have Gunther destroy Sami Zayn at Bad Blood, writing him off TV for a month and a half, and Sami Zayn ends up being the mystery partner returning, and he's only there for one night.
And that return would be in Canada, which is where Sami's from, so the crowd would just be electric for Sami Zayn.
And after the match, Sami Zayn can go back to Raw, do his own thing. It's a one-off reunion.
I don't necessarily hate it. I think, like, especially for Sami's standpoint of, I was in this group for the longest time. They took me and his family, and then Roman kind of backstabs me and betrays me. It makes me feel worthless in a way. I think there needs to be more of a build to that. So as good of a moment as that might be, I would like to see more on-screen interaction between Roman, Jimmy, Jay, even Paul Heyman, and potentially also build tension to Solo, Jacob. And also, I just think a guy like Sami might fit better on SmackDown at this point. Also because I think this Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns team-up will inevitably lead to a Kevin Owens heel turn in the next few weeks. And I think that sets up something with Sami as well. But yeah, I mean, like, I think that would be a cool moment. I just don't know how realistic that is, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I love both ideas there. I do believe at Survivor Series that will be the match. Somehow, some way, it will happen. I don't know how we get there, but I do believe it'll happen. And I believe at Survivor Series, right when it looks like the original Bloodline is about to get it done, the final boss, The Rock, will return to screw over the original Bloodline, help Solo and those boys, and really get it going, get the boat running for the Roman Reigns versus The Rock at WrestleMania, because at the end of the day, that is how the Bloodline story ends. I think it's the only way, and I think it absolutely has to happen at WrestleMania 41. So I think at Survivor Series War Games is when they start to get that going.
I love it.
But does that Rock-Roman match happen at WrestleMania 41 or WrestleMania 42?
41.
Are we sure about that?
I'm not waiting another year.
Sure,
Rock Roman.
Because do I want to wait another year for this? No, I don't. I think this is the perfect time to execute it. But do I see The Rock working two matches on the lead up to that? Because that match with Cody has to happen first, in my opinion.
I agree. I say just put that at the Royal Rumble.
Oh, I agree. Like, in a perfect world, yeah, that's a Royal Rumble match. Maybe even, I don't know, the Saudi show. Whatever you want to do. It has to happen before WrestleMania, but do I think it will? I don't know, because it depends on what they do after this Bad Blood card, because if they drag on this Roman Solo match past the Royal Rumble, then I think it's Roman Cody. Or, excuse me, Rock Cody at WrestleMania. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting, but yeah, it should be Rock Roman. That's the match we've wanted for.
If it's Roman Cody at WrestleMania, who is The Rock facing, or is The Rock off the card?
No, I meant Rock. Excuse me. I said
Rock Cody.
Rock Cody.
Sorry. So who's Roman's match at WrestleMania then?
If they keep dragging on this Roman solo matchup, I think that main event's night 1.
Oh.
we've seen them put Solo in that main event spotlight before. I think at this point you could get away putting him in a WrestleMania main
Triple
event.
H, if you're listening, do not do that. Do not give us Roman Solo night 1, please.
Big friend of the show, Triple H.
I'm not a big fan of it myself, but I don't know. I feel like this is a storyline that they might want to extend, especially because you have the Solo Jacob Fatu feud looming, which I think will take a while to actually get into. I don't know. I'm just spewing ideas. I could see it being Cody versus The Rock at Mania, though.
All right. Well, with that being said, let's transition now to what is going on tonight. We once again have Monday Night Raw, where we see quite a few good matchups here. We have Damian Priest versus Dominic Mysterio. We got the Judgment Day defending their tag team titles against the New Day. And then, of course, CM Punk showing up, talking about Drew McIntyre and his Hell in a Cell match. Talking about Drew McIntyre and his Hell in a Cell match at Bad Blood. And then we also have Braun Strowman versus Brunson Reed on tonight's card. So what are we looking forward to on tonight's card?
I think we could potentially get new tag team champions tonight, and let me tell you why. If Priest Dom is on the card first, and those boys come out to help Dominic defeat Damian Priest earlier in the night, I could see the Terror Twins ending the night, helping out the New Day become new tag team champions and taking the belt off of Balor and McDonough.
Yeah, I agree. I could see that happening as well. Also because, just generally speaking, Balor and McDonough aren't an actual tag team. They just have the belts as storyline props. And I think the New Day, if they get those tag team titles, because obviously we all know what happened to Odyssey Jones. He's not in the picture anymore. This gives them a fresh start to kind of rebuild that storyline of them eventually turning on each other, and it'll sort of drag that out. So I think they should win the tag team titles. I think they will win the tag team titles. Also, interestingly enough, Drew McIntyre will not be on Raw tonight because of a creative decision. So it looks like it'll just be Punk, and I'm interested to see where that goes. Maybe he interacts with someone else. I don't know. But regardless, I think the New Day should win the tag team titles. Will they? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm also very excited for this tag team title match because we've seen the New Day. We grew up with the New Day, and we know every time they have the tag team titles, they put on fantastic matches and make the tag team titles feel special. They've won it so many times now and are one of the greatest tag teams of all time. And I think that when the Judgment Day has them right now, the tag team titles are kind of an afterthought. No one really... I can't even think of the last time they had a match and defended them and if it was good or not. But I know if the New Day had them, they'd be putting on classic matches like they have for years and years now, and then continued to solidify themselves as one of the greatest tag teams of all time. So I think that starts tonight, and they go on a great little tag team title run again for the New Day.
Yeah, and they don't even need to hold the belts for a while. Just put it on them and have them be a transitional champion to some crazy new heels.
Yeah.
I do think that'll be very exciting. I'm very excited for Priest and Dom just to. I mean, it's the first time they're seeing each other since the tag team match, correct? Yeah, so that'll be fun to see if Dom can get some revenge on there. And I feel like that is just like a recipe for run-ins. That duo, when you start messing with Judgment Day and old members of Judgment Day, like you're just going to get a whole lot of characters from that. And I always think that run-ins are so fun.
I want to pose this question really quickly, though, because I've been going slightly back and forth. Priest and Balor at Bad Blood, who wins or who should win for that matter? I'm interested to hear what you guys think.
I would like Finn to win. I feel like Finn loses every feud, and I feel like it adds more intrigue and gives the feud more longevity if Finn takes round one.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a pretty big Finn Balor fan, and I have hated the way he's been used over the last couple of months. Again, he's also, like I said about the rest of the Judgment Day and the tag titles, have felt like an afterthought in a way. He has not really won anything in a very, very long time. And so I would prefer Finn to win just so that this storyline can continue and Finn Balor can get a big win under his belt. but I feel like they're just kind of trying to make Damian Priest too much of a dominant force right now in the company, and that at the end of the day, they would give Priest the first win.
I think Finn should win as well. I think you need to keep this faction looking strong, especially if they lose the titles tonight. You need them to look strong. And the one way to do that is have Finn Balor get this win over Damian Priest. Now, will Priest inevitably end up winning the feud? Probably. They clearly have high hopes for him. He's already a world champion. I think eventually down the line he'll probably win it again. So I think Priest wins the feud, but Balor needs to win this first match.
I would also like to see Finn Balor win. I just seen Damian Priest win too much. It would make sense. He's the face of the Judgment Day, and he's got to win. But seeing Balor come out on top, just for even that one match, like you were saying, Justin, even if he doesn't win the feud, just seeing him win like one match, seeing him get fan support would be pretty awesome, I think.
And one more match that we kind of looked over here on tonight's card. We have Sheamus versus Pete Dunne. A little throwback from the Brawling Brutes a couple of years ago. You know, when Sheamus finally did return, he tried to run out and help Pete Dunne in a situation, and Pete Dunne was not having it. So I kind of am excited to see this little match, as I'm a big Sheamus guy, so I think this will be a solid match. And it's good to see that they didn't completely just erase the Brawling Brutes from history and acknowledge that used to be a thing back in the day. So what do you guys think about this match just being on the card as well tonight?
I mean, two guys who are great in the ring and just consistent. So good match for the live audience there. I mean, storyline-wise, it doesn't have too much behind it, but two guys that know how to wrestle.
They actually had a match 3 weeks ago on Raw, and I'm watching the clip now. This is the main reason I remember this. Obviously, it's hard to digest Raw and SmackDown matches with all the commercials, especially a match like this that's not supposed to be as long. But they had a crazy spot at the end, which I will never forget. And Pete Dunne got Sheamus's hand into the turnbuckle so he couldn't move and started beating him down. And then Sheamus literally just ripped the turnbuckle off with his wrist and bro kicked him and won. So this will be another good match. Hopefully they have a finish that follows that creatively. And hopefully Pete Dunne gets a win. As much as I love Sheamus, he's the younger guy, so I think you give him the win here.
And then one last match to talk about on tonight's card. The big guys. Meat on meat. Braun Strowman versus Big Bronson Reed. Who do we have, and what do you think about it?
I think this match ends in a no contest due to the ring breaking.
I was literally about to say
I was just thinking that.
I don't know if they're going to do a superplex. The superplex has been overused. I want to see them break it in a new, fun, creative way. But I'd like to see a ring break spot happen tonight because it's fun. Yeah, they've done it multiple times in history, but it's been a few years. Let's do it.
And do we see that happening as the main event? Or does it happen earlier in the show and then they just deal with a broken ring?
That's what's going to tell us. If it goes on last, then they'll probably break the ring.
Absolutely.
But if it goes on earlier in the show, no, I doubt the ring crew wants to fix the whole ring in between shows.
I just looked up both their weights. It's going to be a combined 716 pounds in that ring. So there's no way there's not going to be any damage.
Yeah, there's some. There are some big guys over there. Justin, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, this first match was chaotic, to say the least, and I loved every second of it. And I was going to say that the ring breaks too, but you did bring up a good point. If it's in the middle of the show, I don't know what they're going to do at that point. It'd be kind of funny. Like, maybe they have them co-main event, they break the ring, and then, like, Priest versus Dom or the tag team match becomes, I don't know, some sort of street fight. That would be cool. But, yeah, I think you got to go all out. What did they call this on Twitter? They called this like the Meat Mountain or something, which pause by the way. but I mean, this is gonna be a crazy match. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I've honestly started to really like Bronson Reed, and I think there's a lot they can do with him. So maybe you don't have it end in a no contest when you break the ring. Have them break the ring and have Bronson pin him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think he can be a big contributor to this Raw roster. He's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I do feel they have really pushed him a little bit over the last year and a half. They see him as a talented superstar in the WWE, and honestly, that is what he is. He's had some good feuds. He put Seth Rollins. Yeah, exactly. Put Seth Rollins on the shelf, and we haven't seen him in a minute since Bronson Reed attacked him. So that right there showed me they are trying to make Bronson Reed a threat. And so far, I think they are succeeding in doing so. And I believe that Bronson Reed will just beat Braun Strowman clean, straight up tonight to continue to make him look like a threat and that big, like, mountain of a man, monster among men that they wanted Braun Strowman to be for so long. I think now Bronson Reed is the younger guy and is the one that's going to take that mantle from him, and it starts tonight.
Passing the torch kind of match is what you're thinking.
Exactly what I'm thinking.
I could get behind that. I don't know much about these two. I am excited to see two massive men just beat the heck out of each other. I think that's just going to be so entertaining.
It's my favorite subgenre of pro wrestling.
If I could bet over half a ring broken, I would do it.
I think that's a safe bet. I do think that's a safe bet. All right, well, that is all the time that we have here today. Remember to join us next week, same time.
Be sure to, we started a Twitter. Follow us on Twitter at the Fatal 4-Way Blaze.
It's got a cool logo.
We'll have some good content on there for you guys.
And that will do it for this one. We will be back next Monday at 4 live from the Bill Austin Radio Studio in downtown Phoenix. Thank you all for listening. See you next time.